We are awaiting the start of the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Trustees meeting of March 10th, and this will be via Zoom tonight.
Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Four B, so a copy of the civility statement. The desire that to communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully, considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, or intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. Item 5, closed session. The board will report on any action taken during the closed session as required by law, and at this time it's my duty to report that no action was taken. Item 6, public comments, recognitions, and reports. Dr. Zaharki.
So, Mr. Jorgensen, we have two public comment cards on two different agenda items, two different topics, I should say. Thank you.
Public comments and recognition. The speakers can submit the cards to the trustee located at the exhibit table and agendized or non-agendized items to the superintendent prior to the meeting. Not more than 3 minutes are allotted to any one speaker. No more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments, recognitions, and reports to the board and is not intended as a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a written copy of and an administrator will provide answers later. Our first requested comment tonight, presented tonight is Susan Gilbert. You could state your name for the record, please, and you have 3 minutes after conclusion.
Hello, my name is Susan Gilbert, and one subject. Hello? Okay, yeah, better. Thank you. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Before I get to my topic, I want to thank the board or whoever is responsible for putting the announcements for the school board meetings on the front page of the AAD-USD website. Makes it much easier to access the information. Please keep doing this. I would like to make a comment about the vaccine clinic announcement you have on the AAD-USD website. The vaccine clinic announcement indicating we're going to have a clinic on these premises to administer COVID vaccines, among others of vaccines. I have a problem with that. The website announcement offers incentives. There's language in there, incentives, come on down, get, quote, free books, resources, and other giveaways, unquote. I don't know about you, but when I see you're here, free and giveaway, I'm thinking game show, contest, or a way to trick somebody into doing something. Any way you slice it, the vaccine clinic announcement sends the message, whether you intended it or not, that the AAD-USD fully supports vaccination of all the kids in our district. This is not acceptable. There has to be recognition of parental choice here. if you're going to post an announcement such as this, please be fair and balanced. Post non-biased resources for parents to review regarding the risks of these vaccines. Let parents do their own research, make their own decisions. If you want to keep the announcement up, please post a disclaimer or some type of language there that says, please do your research before making any decision to vaccinate your child or yourself regarding COVID-19. Otherwise, you could possibly subject yourself to liability. So thank you. That's my first topic. Am I allowed to speak on the second one? Okay.
And the second request for comment is, again, Ms. Gilbert. Just restate your name, Ms. Gilbert, and you can proceed with 3 minutes.
Yes, hello, I'm Susan Gilbert, and I'm here to speak about my previous requests to put the vaccine mandate for kids on the board agenda. I was here 2 weeks ago when I requested the board please put this matter on the agenda. I don't see it on tonight's agenda. I could be wrong, but I looked and I didn't see it. According to California Education Code, section 35145.5, copies of which I have here, and I would love to give you all a copy, says, quote, "It is the intent of the legislature that members of the public be able to place matters directly related to school district business on the agenda of school district governing board meetings." So according to this law, I or any other member of the public are allowed to place matters directly related to school district business on the board agenda. The COVID vaccine mandate for kids is directly related to school district business. Again, I respectfully request that under this education code section that you please, please, please put the COVID-19 vax mandate on your agenda for an item of discussion no later than April 14, 2022, which is 2 board meetings from now. That gives everybody time to discuss, come up with something, and come back and tell us what your thoughts are. I understand the district you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You get funding from the government to operate. I understand we don't want to jeopardize funding, but at the same time, we have this thing over here, competing thing called parental choice and parental rights. If the district feels that the funding is number one out of all the others, then please come out and say it. Let the parents know where you stand. Don't hide it and don't spring it on parents at the last minute at the end of the semester when you say, oh, by the way, little Johnny needs to get vaccinated now. Therefore, otherwise he can't come to school. Parents don't want to be surprised like that. If you decide not to discuss the vaccine mandate, if you decide not to discuss a plan for dealing with it, then it is assumed that you will comply with the mandate. And unfortunately, if there is compliance, I'm afraid this will cost the lives of children. And I really, really, honest to God, I fear that above everything else. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Item number 7, correspondence proposals report. Ada, representative? B, 7B, CSEA representative? No. Mr. Sparks is online? No? No. 7C, student representative, Ms. Rudd?
For an update regarding Vasquez, our baseball and softball seasons are now in full swing. Baseball winning their last game against Lone Pine 17-1. Jacob Van Nornum having hit a grand slam, and softball improving on their 8-0 record by beating Boron 16-1 yesterday. Sadie Mendoza hitting a home run, first career home run in high school. Vasquez is also preparing for their next dance morph, which will be on April 2nd, as well as starting to implement more discipline in its students, each class having met with the principal individually in a different assembly this week, talking about the standards which will now be expected of students from now on. Regarding Hike Desert, they celebrated Engineers Week with a presentation by Bill Schneider and his team from Lockheed on Monday, and tomorrow they will be celebrating their redesignation as a school to watch with assemblies at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. They hope to see all of their families there celebrating the school and their amazing accomplishment. And their basketball season started and games will begin next week. And unfortunately, I don't have an update regarding Metal Art tonight. And just, I might add that we're all excited as students to see the mask mandate end on Monday. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Red. 7D, Superintendent Gold Standard Report, Dr. Salatin.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. This evening, I'll be providing an update to my first 100-day entry plan with the board and our community. I had introduced my entry plan back in August as I started my role July 1st. The plan encompasses 5 goals: governance, organizational capacity and alignment, students, engagement, communications, and culture and climate. But before I do that, I do want to mention that there's a new addition to the Superintendent's Report as suggested, titled Community-Minded Announcements. So I want to thank Ms. McCauley for reaching out to community groups and our community leaders. Thank you for getting back to Ms. McCauley. Thank you, Ms. Victoria Taylor, the President of Acton Women's Club, for submitting an announcement for the community. Acton Women's Club is encouraging our high school students applying to trade schools and colleges to apply for an annual scholarship. Online applications will be found on their website between April 1st through April 30th. Applications must be postmarked or submitted by April 30th, is what we understand. The Acton Women's Club will be selecting the winners the first week in May. They will hold a ceremony awarding scholarships to students applying for colleges and trade schools, which will be held on May 18th. So thank you again, Ms. Taylor and Acton Women's Club, for your unwavering support of our students. We appreciate that. I'll move into my first 100-day plan. The purpose of this entry plan was to establish a set of intentional and inclusive activities to help guide my transition as superintendent. This plan outlines the specific strategies that allow me a deeper understanding of our district in terms of what we're doing well, our strengths, and areas of continuous improvement. So what you'll see up on the screen, thank you, Alex, once again, are some of the goals. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but the 5 goals: governance, to continue to develop our school board and superintendent relationship. That's an ongoing goal. Number 2, organizational capacity and alignment, increase organizational effectiveness, efficiency, and ensure high performance and support to schools. 3, students, focus organizational efforts and align resources to ensure that all students thrive academically and social and emotionally. Number 4, engagement and communication, build public trust capital and confidence through open, honest communication with positive relationships. And lastly, the 5th goal, culture and climate, promote and ensure a positive, collaborative, constructive climate focused on student-centered culture and positive outcomes and achievement. So with that, I'm going to just share some of the artifacts with you. So you'll see some icons, so just bear with me here. The red icon indicates something that has not yet been initiated. The yellow icon, something that's in progress. The check mark, an activity that has been completed. So for the role of governance, to strengthen board and superintendent relationships, Mr. Alex, if you go to the next slide, We start with the artifacts. So the artifacts, thank you to the district office and my cabinet. We provide our board every other week, Friday, a communique, which really provides departmental updates and things that are being worked on within the district, as well as school updates. The superintendent report is something that is on the agenda for every other week for the board meeting. The presentation of this entry plan back in August, and an update today. Participation with board members for professional development, such as California School Board Association Annual Conference, and the crisis communication guide that's been implemented for immediate communication between sites and district office to the school board. Next slide, please. Goal 2, organizational capacity and alignment. Again, increasing organizational effectiveness and efficiency. Mr. Alex, if we go to artifacts. So support to principals from district office, from cabinet, our incredible Ms. Shah, incredible Mr. Mirza, myself. As a superintendent, holding joint parent orientation assembly in the fall with our principals for orientation of students coming in and parents. We do hold a monthly district leadership and principals meeting formally. I'm not going to go through each and every single line. The LCAP supplemental alignment with districts 20, 21, 22 LCAP plan. Moving forward with a formal demographic study that was recently completed, forecasting short and long-term enrollment projections for our district. That's something that's going to be presented in the next board meeting or in April. And community outreach meeting with Antelope Valley College president for dual enrollment, something that we were able to launch in January over at Vasquez, so we're excited about that. Goal number 3, our students. Focusing organizational efforts to align resources so our students could thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. If we could go to the artifacts page, Mr. Alex. So resuscitation of our DLAC, our District English Language Advisory Committee here at the district, selecting a DLAC president, vice president, secretary, and working on our district's EL master plan is in process. The implementation of AVID, advancement via individual determination. We're in the planning phase with AVID and our 3 sites and our AVID teams. Full implementation will be taking place 22, 23, 4th through 12th grade. LACO, partnering with our district for MTSS, multiple tier systems of support, since fall, October 21, for heightening our MTSS efforts. A gaggle implementation to help support vulnerable students on the social media, not the social media platform, forgive me, on our Chromebook platform to make sure that students are maintaining safety. At the last board meeting, we presented the possibility of the Makerspace, the innovative lab for Meadowlark, and that will, keeping fingers crossed, launch September of 2022, this coming fall for Meadowlark, so we're excited for that. In addition, I've been working with the U.S. Department of Education as well as Department of Justice. I'm applying with the district several grants. One grant called the Full Service Community Schools Grant, which will bring services such as social workers, academic tutoring, and the like to our campuses for after-school enrichment, as well as the Department of Justice to provide school violence prevention program and training such as active shooter, as well as maintaining safety, as we could purchase additional radio security systems for our school sites. So that is in development as we speak. Goal number 4, engagement and communication, building public trust capital, confidence, and awareness. The artifacts there. Communication guide used by principals in communication with district office in terms of the responsibilities. The artifacts, Mr. Alex, sorry. One more. There you go. Thank you. So a communication guide was developed for principals to streamline communication with district office staff, be it myself, be it with maintenance of facilities, Ms. Shah, Mr. Mirza, and others. Recruitment of principal vacancies. We were deliberate in making sure that we received community input when it came to recruiting the right fit for our principal vacancies. I've been attending joint PTO booster and PTSO meetings with the chairs, not individually, but as a group. So the 3 chairs, including myself, we meet monthly and discuss pertinent issues related to the groups that they are facilitating and leading. Alex, if you could go to and project the formal assessment of existing communication platforms. So we did a very formal assessment of our communication tools that currently exist within the district as part of a marketing and branding endeavor. So we did take a look at a search engine optimization SEO for short, in terms of the usability of our existing website. I was trying to pull that up, and there's a lot here. But I do want to mention to our community that not only will we be posting, Ms. McCauley and I will be posting the updated entry plan to the superintendent link on our website. We'll be posting the communication audit as well. So please be on the lookout for that. So if you want to dig in deeper, that will be there for consumption. So part of our usability of our website, the assessment gave us a score of 51. A score of a 70 or higher indicates that an existing website is well optimized and ready for digital marketing campaign. So with a score of 51, we have some work to do on our existing website. Our platform is Blackboard, and so we're working with Blackboard as well as IT, Ms. McCauley, myself, and others to take a look at how to enhance our usability score to make sure that there's maximum exposure through our website and the usability that comes along with that. The next piece is another assessment of district branding. So this is a media audit which reported the district's branding as it exists in terms of our school site web pages, logos, and so forth. The audit provided us some branding recommendations, such as developing a mission statement for the district, developing a new color palette that is more dynamic and better suited for the digital realm. The audit itself indicated that although the existing colors of our webpage is gold and green, gold really resonates when it's metallic or in real world objects. However, in the digital realm, sometimes it falls a little bit flat. So an easy fix is to really kind of have some other colors that will pop, such as blue from the sky, cream from the outer edge of our existing logo, and so forth, so on. So some work that needs to be done there. In addition, we have some recommendations for school branding, which will be to work the level of each school, elementary, junior, our middle school, and our high school, into their specific branding, which might include developing different slogans and mission statements for each school. And that's just an abridged version of the audit for our branding and marketing. We're excited to report that we are expanding our marketing brand outside of our own schools and our communities of Acton and Agua Dulce. So look out for some exciting billboards that will be popping up outside of our community to really talk about our signature programs that we are developing. And with the support of our IT department, we're going to be having an online link to our webpage, a landing page specific for enrollment and to enroll now electronically through Aries. So we're really excited about that. All right. And I want to say, number 5, culture and climate. This goal promotes and ensures a positive, collaborative, and constructive climate focused on student-centered culture and positive outcomes and achievement. With that, if you could go to the artifacts, Mr. Alex. I've been sharing this throughout the past 8 months. Superintendent's virtual forum. We've been holding a Tuesday talk with the superintendent, featuring timely topics such as our health protocols, masking, vaccinations. We had one on academics and social emotional components. Alex, if you could put that link up for the Tuesday talk. This is an example of what is posted in our district newsletters and our in the loop updates. And if you can't get it, that's okay, Alex. Don't sweat it. I know many of us have already seen the district newsletter as well as the in the loop. Hopefully with the Tuesday talk, we'll move from virtual to in person, where we can actually have some coffee and some donuts together and not via Zoom. And the last item, last two items, Superintendent Student Advisory Council has been initiated and well underway. The next meeting is going to be scheduled for late March, where the students will have an opportunity to interview district office personnel, be it maintenance and operations, business, education services, with the questions that they had from the previous meeting that we had. So they'll have an opportunity to meet and ask questions to district office folks. In addition, just to enhance culture, we initiated a Golden Spotlight. It's a bi-monthly recognition at our board meetings, as you all know, recognizing our students, community members, staff for their achievements and their accomplishments within the district. And lastly, but not least, the Shadow Day Collaborative has been initiated. We had a wonderful event in January where the High Desert Hawks were invited to Vasquez for a tour and a preview of an exciting soccer game at Vasquez. Our next Shadow Day event will be in late March. Look out for that flyer to be posted, where we'll be inviting Meadowlark students and families to High Desert to experience the High Desert immersion with activities and athletics and all of the wonderful things happening in High Desert. So with that concludes my entry plan update. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen.
Okay, board discussion?
I just have a couple of comments. First of all, I like the yellow arrows because in education we're never done. So my expectation would be to have a lot of yellow arrows even after we're past 100 days. So I do appreciate that because there's a lot to get done, and so it's nice to see that you're doing that. I also appreciate the evidence and artifacts because I think it's important that we don't just say things that we say is happening without any evidence that those things are happening. So I personally seen a lot of 100-day plans, not a lot of artifacts, so I appreciate the artifacts to show, yes, this work is happening. And of course, I really appreciate the marketing and branding and the strategic plan because as I've mentioned before, I thought it was really important when I became a school board member that I didn't feel like there was a strategic plan, and if you don't have goals and a place, a vision of where you're going to go, then you're just kind of going all over the place. So I appreciate that, and I've always said that we needed to do some marketing and branding because I feel like we're kind of off by ourselves, and there's a lot of great things going on here, and I think it's important to highlight the great things our students are doing and our community is doing, and put our name out there. So I do appreciate that. So thank you, Dr. Sahakian.
Thank you.
Okay, artifact, I'm an artifact, thank you. Apparently I'm not alone. Listen, superintendents come in, they bring something that they had over where they have, or I come and sit up here and do what I do at work, and everyone has these altruistic ideas about what can happen. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but this is how I evaluate the superintendent, and the fact that you can get on the website and look at this stuff and figure out, because we're all adults. I'm going to go on a rant here that you'll really like here in a couple minutes, but yeah, we're all adults. We know how to think. And speaking of adults and thinking, if your staff back there, woohoo, this is how your superintendent is evaluated. And so it's a basis of discussion. So if you see something that reminds you of Main Street Disneyland that you don't believe in up there, it's a good idea to communicate that to the superintendent, because the direction that the district is going was set by Kelly's strategic plan,
I think I cleaned up some messes, and then Kelly came in.
I'm going to correct you, sorry. Because it's not Kelly's plan. It's not Kelly's plan.
Put up a historical marker, because that's the first time I've ever been corrected. Next. Don't encourage me, please, sir. So, but anyway, I want to grow this up and have an adult conversation here. Guys, the strategic plan, everybody's wandering around. I throw this at the wall. I call up a board member. I say something one week and I'm supposed to take action next week. That's not how I work. I was elected by popular vote. And maybe some people are sorry they voted for me. It's too late now. But at the end of the day, guys, what I'm telling you is if there's something on there that you see an arrow that says we're moving ahead, we need to move ahead. You owe it to the superintendent to say, I think this is garbage. I think it's altruistic. I didn't tell him that. Don't discipline them for what I say. But you got to be able to say, I think this idea is half-baked or something like that. But I like the check marks, and I like the way this is going up on the internet, because there will be no surprises in how he's evaluated, except the ones I pull. Brianna.
I appreciate your report, and I am looking forward to actually reading through it and spending some time with it. So, thank you.
I like where you're going with it. The website's definitely cleaned up a lot from where it was. I think there's a lot of good, useful information on there. And I too, like Kelly suggested, having the artifacts there so you could see where we came from, etc., and where we're going is great. I would also agree with maybe changing some coloring on the website to make it pop a little bit more, and just overall ease of use issues that sometimes can be confusing as you're scrolling through there, but it's exponentially better than it was, say, a year ago. And I think that's all. I'll say that you're doing a good job. Let's keep moving forward on the branding and the logos and that kind of stuff. I think that's branding and marketing. That's our next big thing that we really need to get out there and get going. Thank you.
Thank you. I only have a couple, Dr. Zach. First off, I know IT has been working hard on the website to get some little, and it's those little changes that capture the eye, that we get back to who we were 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago. So we have a rich history here. You know, we have 17 years, 18 years of steady growth. I mean, we're like the second oldest district in the state. We need to brand that. We need to let people know we've been here since the 1881, I think it is. And those are things that are important. I mean, those are things that draw people to you when you do that. The benchmarks, the indicators that they're in progress, and the knowing that, oh, sorry, we haven't got this one started yet. There's a big red X there. Okay, let's get on the ball. I echo with what my colleagues say with staff over there to be free to speak up. Don't sit there and don't be bobbleheads in the meeting when the superintendent's talking. I hate that. When people, I want to go around and hold their head still. I know that you don't know or don't agree, and sometimes there's a question, you want clarification. That's what makes it great. We ask our students to collaborate. All the staff needs to collaborate to make us come forward and go forward. It's on the website. That goes back to IT, Alex, and Caesar doing a great job over there. Thank you for that. That gets it to the point where it makes it simple to understand that our community can go to the website, they can find it, click, they can have a web, they can have a link, they can have something. Put it like she said on key elements, put those on the front page so when they pop, there's the piece of information that's most relevant right today. And then we move on, and that's a rotating thing because there's things that are going to change from time to time. So that part I'm really appreciative of, that we have that sequence that says, here's what we want to do, it's in progress, or we're pretty much done, so we get the X, we get the little mark there. But now they have a way of looking the sector, because in my 18 years in the district, I saw 5 or 6 of these, and it would get to the yellow started, and that was the last we ever heard about it. So what I'm looking at is those yellows turn into completed, and so I'm going to give you like 30 minutes to get it done. No, I'm just kidding. But in reasonable time, that from semester to semester, year to year, because these things take time to evolve. We need to engage our community, our different our members, and keep them actively involved and look at them and say, what can we do better? Because there are tons of things we can do better. But we already do a lot of good stuff. And we need to let those people know driving down the 14 freeway, hey, don't do like I did when I interviewed in 2000. I drove right by Vasquez because I thought it was a youth detention center. And I went to High Desert for my interview, and they said, no, you got to go back to the high school. So that's the perception, the branding of what we are here. We are a unique community of people in nice settings. We have great kids, and we have a distinguished school over in Meadowlark. We have a school to watch at High Desert. Vasquez is coming up with a new technology. It's a smart campus. We've got all these things. We let people know where we're at, and that's where I'm really glad that to tag on what Miss Jensen started. My big thing is branding, let people know who we are. We're the Meadowlarks, we're the Hawks, we're the Mustangs. Come here for quality education and a valuable high school experience. One last thing. You said our score was 51, and the expectation, the goal is 70. Can you elaborate just briefly on that?
Sure. So the assessment yielded a score of 51.
That assessment was
on the usability of our existing website.
very good.
Yes. 70 or higher.
Because I'm a dumb. You got to make it simple if you want me to get around.
No, sorry. So yeah, 70 or higher, just there's more of an efficiency and ease for users to navigate our website.
So we're on top of that, Alex, right? Alex has come bobblehead. I got it.
And we've all been meeting. We've got a good team together.
Thank you to you and the staff and site administrators. The expectation is that you're going to raise your hand in the meeting and you're going to, okay, my head's not moving. I need to understand what we're doing here. I have contributions to make. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. 7E, COVID-19 reports. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. Quite a few updates. President Jorgensen, community, board members. So not going to be providing any of the LA County DPH stats this time around, but just some new updates. On February 28th, the Newsom administration announced a statewide school timeline that will lift the mandatory masking mandate for both vaccinated and unvaccinated students in next week. The announcement included the following key points. Statewide school indoor mask mandate will expire for all students, regardless of vaccination status, at the end of the day, this Friday, March 11th. So, on Monday, I saw Mr. Wadsworth clapping right there. So, on Monday, March 14th.
Hold on, everybody. Go ahead.
Oh. So, on Monday, we talked about releasing doves. That as a joke, but anyway, that's a side joke. So, Monday, March 14th will be the first day with no state requirement in place. In short, California will change its school masking policy from required to strongly recommended. Meetings that my wonderful team and I attend with LA County DPH and LACO. LA County DPH is aligning themselves to California DPH. So, good news all around. Also, Newsom signed an executive order N522, which means the governor's executive order announced changes to the statewide requirement for indoor masking in K-12 school settings after March 11th for K-12 students and now staff. So staff will be aligned with the students for the first day, March 14th. So we're really excited about that. Additionally, there will be no distinction between vaccinated and unvaccinated individuals, because there was talk of that. But I do want to preface that, as is always the case, state requirements and recommendations are always subject to change. Local health agencies and educational authorities may have additional requirements beyond the state requirements. But as of March 14th, staff or students can choose to wear a mask if they want to, and we'll support them, but it is now strongly recommended and not required. And if there's any other...
And pay close attention to what Dr. Sahakian said. There's no, like, you don't have a vaccine, you're over here, you have a vaccine, you're over here, you have your mask on, you have your mask on. We're all together, and everyone has a choice how they want to go through this time. So I think that's important to remember.
don't agree with pulling this off the agenda. This item has been on the agenda for almost 2 years. It has been a running ability for someone to fill out a card and stand there just because it's a superintendent's report or anything like this. This is nothing more than safe routes to school or some other business we have. I don't want it pulled off the agenda because it gives people the ability to stand up there. This has been on the agenda. Just because we have refused to accept certain things about it doesn't mean that we're going to do this or that. So don't make those assumptions. I'll be giving a law lesson here in about 3 minutes. So I don't want it off the agenda. You know what strongly recommended means to me? I strongly recommend that you don't smoke cool cigarettes when you're 2 packs a day when you're running the crane in the oil fields of Texas. I didn't listen to that. It's strongly recommended that you don't drink a drop of alcohol before you get in the car. I do believe in that. It's strongly recommended that you don't take the tag off your mattress because I'm going to be checking later. Strongly recommended means nothing to me. Am I clear? What does mean something to me is when we line up over here and use last-minute identity politics, jump in and come in here and try to run me up the flagpole like I'm a child and tell me what I better do and better not do. I have refused to engage in certain conversations about this. I will continue to refuse to engage in certain conversations regardless of what law documents hit my trail. What I do not want is I do not want a child who chooses to wear a mask ridiculed because you are now jumping into a protected classification of individuals. Your HIPAA rights and your FERPA rights, if you're students, are sacred things. They are federally protected things. So if you have to find your identity and pointing at people who wear masks and those who don't, I have a problem with you. Other than that, get them off your face unless you want them on. Next. But I will not support this coming off the agenda just now. Sorry.
I am very much looking forward to getting the mask off. But I do know that there's students and staff that will still wear a mask, and I will support them. And there's probably people in my own family, my own kids, that will continue to wear a mask. What I have noticed being around children, I still work at a junior high. I don't work at one of our schools, but I am still at a junior high school. And I am around high school students often. What I have noticed is in the 2 years that we've had to wear a mask, it became way more than just COVID. It became a sense of security. It's like if you see a teenager or a kid walking around and it's 90 degrees out and they have a hoodie on, it's not about the hoodie. It's about their security. It's about their mental health. It's about them feeling safe and secure. So kids will walk around with their hood on because that's how they feel comfortable. Maybe they want to hide. Maybe they're not feeling like they want to look at the people around them. The mask has become a sense of security for more than just being protected from COVID. So there are some kids out there that maybe they're not maskers. They're just comfortable. That's how they're comfortable now, hiding their face. And hey, that's okay. It is okay if kids want to walk around with masks. It is okay if kids want to walk around without masks. It is okay if staff wants to wear a mask because maybe that's how they're comfortable. Maybe they're not secure enough to take off the mask. Maybe it is about COVID and they're not comfortable that way. But we still need to respect every single person's decision. So personally, I cannot wait to see other people's faces. I'm very excited.
I personally can't wait to get rid of these tan lines that I have underneath this mask. So as soon as I can take it off, it will be long gone, although I still have to wear it at work. So Friday is going to be great for a lot of people, and as much as I can get away with not wearing it, I'm super excited about it, but I still have to do it at work. But that being said, everybody has the right to choose. So if you feel comfortable wearing the mask, by all means, keep wearing it. If you don't, then it's time to get rid of them come Friday. So congratulations to everybody. We're moving forward. That's all I have to say.
Well, as an educator, I want to see the faces of my students because I can judge by the look on their face that they're happy to be in my class, they're happy to take a final, they're happy to have a test, they're happy to have homework. But by and large, I can tell what they are. That's the first communication, is your facial expression. People can see it from 10 meters away, where that person needs help. Oh, hey, what'd you do? Everybody, they got that communication. So I'm welcoming the opportunity to see students. I work part-time for Cal State Bakersfield, and I go into classrooms at the different campuses, and some students are already not wearing their masks. They're on the same timeline we are. But I've heard time and again that, is it okay if I wear my mask? Yeah, sure. So we as adults model positive behavior. It's your choice. That's certainly fine. If you want to do it, no problem. I understand. And vice versa for staff doing the same thing. But we're an institution of learning, and we're an institution of guiding and mentoring and modeling behaviors, so that we look for those students, hey, you're wearing a mask, and making fun of somebody. The adults in the room correct it, make sure it's okay, so that we look out for the students that want to do it. I also officiate volleyball games, and I was at Little Rock High School last night, and the AV student came up to me and said, hey, is it okay if I wear my mask when I play? And I said, yeah, it's not required, but it's something up to you. It's certainly fine. So just fast forward, he only made it through the first match with his mask, and he realized he could play a little better. He was out there moving around, but he was checking to make sure it was okay, and that's fine. And that's the adults in the room, from the administrators to the students to the staff in the office. When they come to our campuses, they need to know that that's a safe place for them to come and do their thing, communicate with their peers, get some education, and not feel guilty one way or another. Have a mask tournament day. I don't care, whatever it is, whatever their choice is, that they get to choose to wear their mask, and they can choose to take it off, and it's certainly acceptable. In the same way with our adults. So we're all looking forward to this. We've been wanting this. We've been telling everybody, please be patient. And now it's on us to implement. And the implementation is to look out for the rights of each of our students and our staff to choose what they want to do, and that's okay, and we'll get on and we'll move on down the road. So it's good news for sure. All right. Item number 7, submissions. Dr. Sahakia.
No, sir, we don't have any submissions for this evening.
None. 8, board comments. Ms. Jensen.
I don't have a lot, but I wasn't here the last board meeting because I was at a conference, and I did learn a lot, so it was great, but that's neither here nor there. But I want to welcome, I didn't get a chance to welcome Nicole Moynihan for being the new principal. I look forward to coming and visiting you, and it's great to see you in this position, and I wish you the best, and I look forward to see what you can do with our staff and students. And we talked about the strategic plan earlier, and help us just brand our schools and be a big part of this plan and what we have going here. You have a great, cute little school, great parents, great staff. So as a new principal, it's a gift, and so we look really forward to working with you. So we're really super excited for you. And I didn't get to just express my happiness that you're getting a Makerspace too. So there you go. So I didn't get to be here for that, but I think that's really exciting that we're getting some great things that our kids deserve. So. Can't wait to see a ribbon cutting up for the Makerspace. That will be great. So I have to make those 2 comments about last time because I wasn't here. I look forward to Schools to Watch Assembly, and congratulations again. And I know that you were recognized, and so that's great. And you missed earlier because we announced that your son hit a home run at the baseball game. So that was exciting. It's great, and then hearing the dance. It's just really great to see that our kids are kind of getting some of their activities back and enjoying being a kid. And it breaks my heart to think that we have some kids that have graduated that didn't get those experiences that they deserve. So it's great to know that some of our kids are kind of getting back into some of their activities. So that's great. And I want to thank the Women's Club. I know that we talked about scholarships, and it's a lot of work to give your time and service, and with nothing more than want to love your community and want to serve your community. So I just would like to give a shout out to the Acton Women's Club for really recognizing our students and partnering and giving them some scholarships. So I look forward to the spring when we get to visit with them. So anyone that's listening to the Women's Club, I really appreciate you and all your work. And the website, again, 51, and that's an improvement. So, and it kind of goes along with what Susan Gilbert said earlier, that she appreciated it, how much more work we have to do. So part of the branding, there's nothing worse than saying, hey, let me check out this school district. That's the number one thing about branding, right? And it's like, okay, 21st century learning, and we've got, and some of our stuff looks like it's when we started in the 1800s, but we didn't have technology back then. But, so I really appreciate that, it being just always trying to make things better. And I'm going to disagree with Tim, because he said he wants to see everything turn green. If you tell me, Superintendent, that you're done, I like to see the yellow arrow. I want to see everything's in progress and that we're always making improvements. Because once you start to hit, some of it goes like, yeah, check, 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 done. But some of the things, Mr. Jorgensen, they turn green. You're never done with some of these things. You're never done, because we only make things better. We only make things better. It could turn a different color yellow, but let's keep it going. So we're never done with our work. So I just wanted to tell Tim for once to disagree with him on that. But I appreciate everyone's hard work. I know it's spring is here. We're going to see some smiling faces, and sports are back, and our kids are having a good time, and they're going to have some great things. And so just to our staff. And Alice, thank you, because our 51 has nothing to do with you. I give you 100. So thank you so much for all you do too.
My, how cheery, I'll change that now. First off, I want to thank Tim and what did you say your name was? Shelley, for sharing what it was like in the 1800s and 1881 respectively. Thank you. First, High Desert, here I go. First, are there any lawyers in the room? Are there any you're a lawyer. Okay, that's okay. Any real doctors in the room? But yeah, I'll talk about them instead of the lawyers then, but I'll get you in a minute. Okay, schools to watch. I think there's a misnomer, and it's don't have a stroke, but the misnomer is this not a designation for the school? Yeah, so what that means is they've had the award for the last 3 years, and I think they had the award for the 3 years before that, am I correct? So this isn't a new thing, and it's my understanding that when you're going from award to award, the expectation goes up. So you can't just do the same thing. So there's been at least a string of 9 years of continuous improvement. I don't think that's adequately captured in how this award is talked about. So what I want to say is, who really needs to be thanked here is the 10th graders and 9th graders and the upperclassmen of High Desert, as well as the last 3 principals and all of the staff that have worked there, because singly and collectively you keep getting this award, and that is really significant. This isn't just put a bunch of papers together and pictures and paint up something pretty. This is a continuous improvement thing, and I need the kids that are there today seriously to understand your effort today, what you do today, individually and collectively, will give us this award for the 4th time in a row 3 years from now. So congratulations to you and all the staff and all the kids. And please make sure that the kids at your high school, Mr. Murphy, understand their role in what just happened today. Thank you. Okay, now this is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. I'm going to expect Ms. Gilbert to come up here and restrain me as necessary. Okay, I attended what was called a town hall meeting, in which the County Department of Health officials asked to share information for those seeking to understand more about the vaccines, specifically the type of vaccines, the nuances of each, to include initial doses, when you get to the second one, how long before the booster. That's what I expected to hear. I did not expect to hear any of the following. That you allude to the idea that either directly or by inference that the policy of this district is to mandate vaccines for its students. Speaker, you are very clear. This board has not put this on the agenda, and it is my intent that it never will be on the agenda because it does not exist in my mind in any way and doesn't deserve any of my discussion. And I am not going to do anything until the state walks in here and pulls our funding out from underneath our students and shuts our schools down, and they will not do that. I'm banking on it. So we'll keep that thing up there. We'll keep evading it, but let me keep going. The attendees to this meeting were gagged. They were not offered the ability to participate. There was a chat room, and then somebody just decided, oh, I'll pick the easy questions, and then I'll spend 15 minutes answering them in my government bureaucratic spiel. I know how to do that. That's what I do. When you don't want to answer, that's not what I do. When you answer a question, answer the question. Don't go on and watch your watch. Oh, I love this one. You offer your personal anecdotal experiences about what you did or what you're doing with your kids and expect that everyone in the audience is illiterate, childish, and uneducated and cannot make decisions about how to parent their own children. Okay, once I saw this was going on, I raised my hand. I did the right thing. I pushed raise hand. My light went off. You know what that means to me, gloves off. I'm an old hockey player. My hand goes back up. So we played this game for a little bit, and the next thing you know, is this on? Can you hear me? LA Department of Health, can you hear me now? So I was dismissed, and then finally they just booted me from the meeting. I'm a board member. I was put up here by popular vote, like it or not. None of these other people were. So you're going to traipse into my town, and you're going to shut my audience down and my constituency down to some selective chat room? Are you crazy? I won't use that. I've used the 6-letter alphabet way too much in here. The intentions for having the meeting were very clear. We don't want to take questions. We're going to tell you what we want to know, and then when things get rough, we bail out. Here's what I would say. I am a public employee. I've been a public employee for 21 years at the finest city this world has ever known. I don't stay there because of my boyish charm. If you are a public employee, realize that your salary is paid for by sovereign citizens that are taxpayers of the United States of America. You do not have the right to make assumptions for them or talk to them like children. Everything about you, the house you own, the car you drive, the food you eat, the medical benefits that you take for granted, and that pension that's going to put you at your wine tasting in Solvang and in your book club so you can get away from your spouse once a week. We paid for that. How dare you squelch me down? Guys, staff, I know LA County was reaching out saying, hey, we need to check this box. We need to offer the ability for you to know where to get your shots, if that's what we're doing. And I really think that if the information was put together objectively in a video that said what I'm saying, somebody might look at it. They might look at it and say, hey, I was going to go get the vaccine, and now because of this public service announcement that doesn't have all this garbage associated to it, I'm an adult. I can think, I can watch this, and I can make a decision. Maybe the decision is to change their mind. It's not our decision. The message was orchestrated. I was shut out of the meeting. I couldn't say, hey, nobody, you don't sit in here and tell us to mandate anything. Get out. So, LA County, sorry to tell you, you do not set the policy. We do. Questions? Maybe you could call me. I'll put you in a chat room. Okay. Was that as bad as it felt? Last thing I'll close. Okay. Who knows who Learned Hand was? Learned Hand basically come up with this formula that said, I'm paraphrasing this in my limited understanding. I went to school in Oklahoma. Don't hold it against me. Not really. So, what the formula basically says, if it takes you more effort to do the wrong thing than it takes to do the right thing. The difference in that effort, extrapolated by the severity of the damage, is how you figure out how badly you hurt someone. In addition to that wonderful formula, whatever that meant, I didn't even read it, I just made that up. Hand was a proponent of the need for jurists, public servants, and elected officials to remain detached from separate positions that the subsets of their constituency takes up. That means I don't listen to 3 people over here or 4 over here and put my focus there, because when I do that, it erodes the objectivity that I need to sit up here to represent all of the constituents I represent. When I start taking up those factions, my focus goes to it. I erode and decay the effectiveness of this body as a whole to represent what's good for all the people. I may not like what you think, I may not like what you think of me, but damn it, I'm here to represent what this community wants to say. And they're telling LA County, don't come in here and tell me what needle I'm going to put in what kid's arm.
So I went to the soccer game.
Awesome. Did we win?
So I was able to attend the Silver League Championship soccer games. It was super cold, so I left really early, but I was able to watch our high desert kiddos just really work hard, and they showed so much heart and so much dedication. It was really fun. It was really fun to see parents there supporting their kids. One thing that I noticed that has absolutely nothing to do with soccer per se, there were practices going on at, well, first of all, parents from the other schools really, really appreciated our fields. And I know we have the opportunity to play at bigger fields in the whole Antelope Valley. When they come to our field, there was our views, our fields, our ease of use, all of it, it was very appreciated. So kudos to our maintenance staff, kudos to Coach Sparks and our whole sports staff as a whole, Don Schneider, our principals at both schools. It was a good show for Acton Ogbodolsi. So good job, guys. One thing that I noticed that I really loved as an employee and as a parent, when the Vasquez kids were done practicing, they came over and watched our high desert kids. And that was really cool. We really have some outstanding students. So to that, I want to say kudos to the parents that are raising our kids. You're doing something right. So good job. It was really fun to watch those high school kids come over and watch our younger players. I am really looking forward to basketball season, and I know some of you know that I do work at a junior high that is in the Silver League as well. So I'm in the process of making a half high desert, half SOAR prep shirt. It's coming because I'm for the kids and I'm for all the kids, not just Acton Ogbodolsi kids, but all the kids. So I will support them all, and I will cheer for whoever wins and whoever loses and all of those kids to play their best. So that was really fun for me. I was also able to attend the Vasquez Winter Ball. I was not invited to the Winter Ball. I was invited to help clean up. But I was told 9:30, so I showed up at 9:30, and it was still going on, and those kids were having a blast. So kudos to ASB and all of the parents and staff that helped put that on. Those kids were having so much fun. And thank you for letting me come put tables and chairs away. It was a blast. And I'm really looking forward to the assemblies tomorrow for schools to watch. That's really exciting. So I will see you tomorrow. That's it.
For Paul's draft, I'm very concerned. Mountain Dew and a Red Bull. Might need to slow it down a little bit, okay?
The commissioners would be at your house.
They are every week. I know. Anyways,
I'm holding it for Kelly.
moving forward. I'm going to speak something totally different. My life's been so busy with work that I haven't had a minute to spend at any school function, if I'm to be totally honest with you guys. But now that we're coming to the end of the mask stuff, I hope that as a community we can find some unity and come back together and let's do good things for the schools, let's do good things for the community. Let's get on the same page. I think we're all better off together, working in one common direction. And I hope these masks go away forever and we never have to look at them again. So that's my only message tonight. Let's unify, let's come together again as a community and start getting some good ideas out there. We're going in a great direction and we're doing a lot of neat new things, and I think it's only going to get better. And I just want to say thank you to the principals and staff for being here tonight. It's really great for you guys to come every meeting. That wasn't the case, say, a year ago. So thank you for being here. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I get to correct Ms. Jensen. No. Well, that was a comparison to what it was 8-10 years ago, where we say, "Oh, we did it." "Oh, no, we haven't. Where'd it go?" So I'm hopeful that it's a steady progress, but I want to see some completion, and then we'll add something else because it will lead into something else. So we're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
We're on the same page. Then the one thing I want to call it is Miss Van Horn's here tonight, and I had the privilege of traveling to Monterey with Dr. Sahakian, Principal Van Hornum, and Michelle Trousseau, Melissa Trousseau from High Desert for the redesignation that High Desert is a schools to watch. Now, Mr. Falsgrove had it correct, is that this is something that's been there 4 times prior, and then the last year, because of COVID and glitches, it didn't get done. And then you made it a mission that, wait a minute, I know this happened, we're doing it again. And so you went back and went through and contacted everybody on your leadership there. And I got up there and I was able to connect with hundreds of other schools. And Castake Elementary was up there. There was Lancaster representative, but that was the only one in our region that was there. It was Castake, Actonagua Dulce, High Desert, and then Lancaster School District that had this certification, redesignation as a schools to watch. Now, redesignation is not like our distinguished school at Meadowlark. They got that years ago, and it's something that they earn. Okay, you have it. It's like a trophy sitting on the wall. We're very proud of it. They work very hard for it. There's a plaque on the building. Not so with High Desert. You have to show improvement and recertifying and rededication to improving what you did. You don't just get to sit back and say, well, we were at last year, we want to apply it again this year. It's not just an application. So under Ms. Van Orden's leadership, she was able to re-energize it to get us back in the loop, and we got up there, and I'm looking at all the scans, and I'm looking at all the schools, and I'm looking at the districts and all that stuff. Of course, alphabetically, we came in. We were right up there at the top, and I wanted to say, yeah, we're the oldest. Okay. But, so, Ms. Van Orden, I want you to make sure that you convey to your staff, to your students, currently that are in there, that are the 8th grade or 7th grade from last year, and everybody that's there, the parents that were involved, your volunteers, that it is a huge recognition that High Desert was redesignated again, and that means you improved, you continue to improve, you continue to focus on your students, you continue to do things that are good for the students, and this goes along with our branding, is that I went up there and I said, Michelle, this is really great. This is really great. And I've been in this district 18 years. And then you showed me pictures. Well, here's when we did it before. Here's when we did it before. Here's when we did it before. And that was not common knowledge to me. And I'm in the district. It's common knowledge to the people at High Desert, the students, the family members. It might have been common knowledge to a couple of people here in the district office. But all the people in the community around here, the new move-ins and the people that are migrating here want to get quality education, they don't know about this. And I want to make sure that they do know about that. And that's the branding, that the hard work our staff are doing for those students at High Desert, the Hawks, that this branding is that everything on our website, High Desert, redesignated. And when they say redesignated, yes, they improved and they continue to improve. It's not like they just get an award. They have to work for it, and they have to demonstrate that they are eligible for this recognition. We went up there, and there were people, and we had several presentations, and we had a principal comedian that was absolutely a knockout. I wanted to show a couple of his videos tonight, but you can see them on YouTube. It's a great camaraderie of professionals that care about students, and High Desert represented that, but I will say to the best of their ability. I was able to even connect to an administrator that came and did WASP accreditation. He goes, "Hey, Tim," and I'm going like, "Well, you know me up here?" And it was an administrator that led the WASP accreditation of Vasquez a couple of years. He goes, "Oh, I remember you guys. They remember Acton Agriculture. They remember our community." So it was just, it cannot be said enough about your staff and your everything. So make sure that you do let them know that we're very appreciative of it. And I'm sure every community members, as they find out about what this is, and how hard it is to get, and the uniqueness of it, out of all the thousands of schools, there was only a couple hundred that were redesignated, that we're one of those. And I look forward to the presentation tomorrow at 8 o'clock to be there tomorrow to share in that. We're moving on. The pandemic is migrating. It's going to immigrate to an endemic where we're going to deal with it forever. But it's something that we have the ability to do, and we're looking out for the welfare of our students. So when the mass choices come up on Monday, it will be awesome to see the faces of our students and our staff, and I'm sure everybody's going to be relieved by that. But like I've echoed what all my colleagues have said, and I'm sure the administrators know that they will pass on to their staff, is that the respectability of the students who want to wear masks, it's okay. The ones who don't want to wear a mask, it's okay, and that goes for our staff. So we can get on with what we do best here, and that's providing high-quality education to all of our students. Thank you, Michelle, for everybody at High Desert staff for doing all this. And now the job is tough for you, is to have that communication, that mentoring and modeling skill to deal with students who you observe that are, hey, hold on. It's okay if they wear a mask. We got to have the dialogue. We got to be prepared for that, because you know students will be students and some adults will be students. You know, we need to deal with that and move on in the best interest of our students. So looking forward to that. Moving on, 9, consent agenda. The consent agenda will include items 9A, the consent agenda 9B, minutes of the regular board meeting 2/24/22, and 9C, the warrant register. Do I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Kelly?
Chad seconds.
Chad seconds. Dr. Hopkins?
For the warrant register, there isn't anything that's very specific that we need to bring up at this time. So no comments here. Thank you.
Board discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Gigraff, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Watson, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye, 5-0. 10A, 10, Personnel Pupil Services, 10A, Personnel Action Report. Do you have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Kelly? I'll second. Dr. Zaki?
Yes, sir. So we do have an amended part. The additions include 2 resignations, 1 a school psychologist, 1 SDC preschool teacher, plus an addition of 2 coaches for Vasquez High School, 1 assistant baseball coach, forgive me, and 1 assistant track coach.
Board discussion?
For the certificated employees, the English position, effective date August 1st, is there a plan in place? Because it's only March. So what is the plan for that class until then?
Sure, Ms. Texani. I'll defer to Ms. Shaw. She's been working diligently on the English vacancy.
We currently have a long-term sub in that class.
So our principal has been filling in for that position. He is no longer filling in, and we filled it with a long-term sub.
Correct.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for getting him some help in there. Two other comments. There's alumni on this list coming back to coach. So that is awesome. So that makes me excited that we have alumni coming back. It says a lot about their coaches that they want to come back and coach with their coaches and coach their teams. That's awesome.
I just want to continue to emphasize to staff is that I see that we have open positions that we still need to work diligently to fill those. I know it's tough all the way around, but we got to be competitive and continue to get those back in get those positions filled. No further discussion. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls Graf abstain.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Walker, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 410. Oh, excuse me, 401. 401. 1 and 6. 10B, Desert School Gym Project. This is a discussion piece. Dr. Hodgson.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen and board. In coordination with High Desert Booster Club and High Desert staff, they have created banners for the gym to honor the talent and the hard work of our wonderful High Desert Hawk students. Ms. Van Ornum, would you like to say a few words? And it's an exciting time for the High Desert community. I want to give you this opportunity. Thank you.
So first, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and
Is that on?
I think so.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I definitely acknowledge the recognition. It is a lot of years of hard work that go into our celebration for tomorrow. And so the High Desert banners are also part of what we'll be featuring as well. We're very excited about this gym project. It is been a long time coming. Our gym has not had very much school spirit in it. It's been kind of plain. And so we're ready to celebrate all of the awesome things that are going on in our school. And we want it, when you walk in the gym, for you to have that feeling of what it feels like to be a Hawk at High Desert. So as far as the history of donations, Agua Dulce Airport, if you don't know, they have been phenomenal sponsors of athletics for the last 4 years. And they originally committed to 5 years of donations of $5,000 a year towards athletics at Vasquez and High Desert. That's pretty amazing. So I definitely want to make sure that we thank them for their donation, and they're part of what made this project possible that we're sharing with you tonight. In addition, the other things that we were able to get with the money that they have provided to the school is we were able to buy jerseys for all of our students and the padding for the front of the stage so that when our kids play basketball, it's safe for them, as well as the back walls so that we don't have dangerous spots. So they're really incredible donors to our schools. Last year, I know they donated towards the Vasquez gym project. So if you've been in the Vasquez High School gym, you've seen the fruits of that labor as well. And so it was High Desert's turn this year to receive the whole donation so that we could take care of our gym. Phase 1 of our project, so this is phase 1, with our Schools to Watch assembly being tomorrow. We wanted to make sure that we had some school pride going on, but there will be a phase 2 that will complete the donation. And so phase 1 was championship banners. And so that's what you see here. We have 5 sports at our school within the Silver League: soccer, volleyball, basketball, cross country, track, and did I get all of them? Basketball, soccer, volleyball, cross country, track, yes. And then in addition, we thought we wanted to not only recognize the athletes on traditional sports, but also our ballroom dance team. So I don't know if you know this, but High Desert has an amazing ballroom dance team. It was formerly known as Dancing Feet. It has a new name this year called Dance Force. The organization, we switched organizations because the other one kind of collapsed. So we are now with Dance Force, and our competition team is getting ready. Their competition will be in May this year. So we'll be looking forward to seeing them compete. And we have a lot of awards that are going to go up on there. And then we also wanted to recognize our academic scholars as well with our Science Olympiad team. And so if you don't know, we have an awesome Science Olympiad team Our school actually provides 2 teams every year. We have a 5th grade team that competes at the elementary level, and then we have a 6, 7, 8 team that competes at the middle school level. So we're wearing 2 hats, and we actually send 2 teams every year to the Science Olympiad, and we're super proud of all of their hard work. And then, of course, banners would not be complete without recognition. We want people to know, as you heard up here, when people walk in, we want them to know we are a school to watch. And that means we take a lot of pride in that, and that means a lot to us being High Desert Hawks. So those are the banners that you're going to see up in our gym. And then, of course, we have to thank our community partners. This is not possible without their support. And so we want to thank our first community partner, which would be our district, for the support of all of our programs and staffing and things. Second, Agua Dulce Airport for their amazing donations that they have done. But also, part of the donations have also come from the Acton Women's Club. So the Acton Women's Club donated, actually they upped their donation. They donated $2,000 to every school this year. So it was double. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go shop in their store over in Santiago Square. Like, it makes so much money, they double their donation. So please go shop. Shepherd Church, they had students who attended High Desert, and they were so excited about our programs and things that they looked at our gym and they said, okay, that little scoreboard that you have on a table just is not cutting it. And so we are going to get to use in our basketball season a scoreboard for the first time, like a real scoreboard installed on a wall with like wireless. Sorry, it's kind of a big deal. We're getting out of 1881. So we are so excited for Shepherd Church, and thank you for the amazing donation. And then also the Agua Dulce Women's Club, they had a great idea for a Shark Tank thing, and Christy Lewis blew it away this year. And so we got $2,000 donation from them as well. And so we're taking all these funds and we are putting them to good use. And they will be used to enhance High Desert. We're looking forward to also having an installed sound system for the first time ever, and a projection system for the first time ever, and good things are coming. So, but it's thank you to all of these awesome community partners, and to the district, and to really the staff. High Desert staff, what you're going to see tomorrow, if I can just say for 2 seconds, what you're going to see tomorrow is our staff is amazing, and they're making tomorrow possible. So, there you go.
Thank you, Mrs. Van Orlen.
Hold on, but Michelle, what are you going to board member discussion?
Going back to the phases, is 3 and 4, was that year 3 and 4? Because you had a 3 and a 4 on those slides. You had phase 1, phase 2, and then I saw.
Oh, no.
3.
I must have just got excited with the numbers. So.
Yeah.
They're all everything you see is phase 1.
Okay, because there were some different numbers. All right.
Yes.
Got it.
Everything's phase 1.
And since we're sticking with the theme of 1881, that gym really needs some updates. My kids went to school there, and my youngest is a mother of 3 now.
Yes,
And so yes, and so it's it really needs it. So it's so exciting to have that gym updated. Yeah, my kids played basketball without the patty. So now that you say that, I'm like, dang, I let my kids play without that patty. So that's really exciting. So congratulations and all your hard work, and it's going to be amazing. So thank you so much. Really, really nice.
Very good. I would like to see a banner that's about forensics and speech and writing and that kind of thing. If you can't swing it, come and see me personally. Thank you.
Speaking of 1881, I went to High Desert, and the gym has been sad since the get-go. It has been overhauled, holes have been patched, it has been painted, but still very bleak. So thank you for taking it to the next step, and thank you to all of our donors. There are so many things that public schools can't do, and this is some of it, and it's so important to the education of the atmosphere better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job. It's going to look great. I can't wait to see it. When you walk into the Vasquez gym and you see the big logo and just all the stuff that's on there now, it's just an amazing experience. So I can't wait to see that at High Desert. The kids are going to be so excited, and and it's going to bring a lot of pride to their school. One thing I would like to add, and I don't know if it's possible, but in your gymnasium, I would love to see a big American flag in there. I'm more than willing to donate. I'll tell my CFO at home to write you a check. Just tell me how much that needs to be. And the same goes for the Vasquez High School. I'd love to see a big American flag in there if that's at all possible and if the district approves it. Right now, we have little rinky-dink things in there, but I think that would go along well with the rest of the environment. So, good job. Can't wait to see it. Thanks.
Couple of things on the banner where you have for your schools to watch. The key word there is to watch. That means that you're evolving, you're continuing to improve. So watch us. You want to get on the band, come join us because we're moving. So that key word to watch as we go forward. Going back to I remember when I first started that they said, you're going to coach volleyball. We didn't have a gym, so we were over there in your high desert playing, and it had PE standards, and we had to go out and fabricate poles to put the holders and all that stuff. And we were playing. Everybody would sit on the stage, and it was like target practice. I said, you guys may want to, no, Grandma, you don't get to sit in the front row and watch play. You get in the back row, you know. And a couple of times, a couple of the players would hit the ceiling, and the ceiling tiles would fall off, and I'd walk out, and I'd say, vote yes on the bond issue. You know, it was a great opportunity to help get that head built. Because the building, the tiles were coming down, so it's got a great history. It's going to look terrific with all these things in there, putting up the Hawks. The kids are going to be proud, and rightfully so. It'll be a fun day. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again, Michelle, for all your work.
Can I add 2 thank yous?
Sure.
I got teary-eyed at the end, and I didn't read the rest of my notes. I need to make sure that we thank Mr. Terry Comstock. He actually coordinated the donation with Agua Dulce Airport, so I want to make sure he's thanked. And Dawn Schneider had a huge part in the vision of, you know, kind of moving athletics forward. And of course, Shiloh, with all of her creative talents. So I just I needed to get to the rest of before I got emotional about schools to watch. So thank you.
You can embarrass them all you want tomorrow.
Okay.
No, those are key players that have been around for years with us, helping us out. So we're very appreciative. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, and I want to add thank you to the Spears family. You guys do amazing work for the community, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
And Spears family made awesome irrigation parks, City of Beverly Hills sports fields. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. 10C, first read draft comprehension safety manual. Dr. Zahaki. This is discussion piece. Dr. Zahaki.
Sure. Just want to go ahead and thank the District Safety Committee, comprised of, our principals, our counselors, health staff, amazing IT, just to name a few folks. Updates that are attached to the agenda to the safety plan include suspension and expulsion policies, district policy on dress code, general emergency preparedness efforts when it comes to different types of scenarios, be it, earthquake, fire, active shooter, and as well as emergency response roles for staff, including myself as superintendent, setting up an EOC emergency operations center at the district office. Quite a lengthy document, but a lot of work that was put forward for the comprehensive safety school safety plan. And the highlights I just mentioned. There's a lot to go through. I just want to thank the committee putting this together. We do have drills that need to take place. For example, elementary schools need to, by law, have drills on a monthly basis. It's kind of random fire, earthquake, and change things up just to make sure that everybody's on board with protocols and processes, including staff and students, of course. And then
In this room.
minus this room.
Okay, just a minute. I'm pulling away from you for just a minute. Oh, no, there's not been a number of these. Tell me what's there.
School sites. Thank you, Michelle. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Every room, please.
Thank you. We'll
Maybe
work
not
on
the
that.
bathroom, unless there's more than one bathroom.
Mm-hmm. We'll work on the deal. But the school sites, thank you, Mr. Mora, and thank you, Ms. Martin, for bringing it to our attention.
Oh, it was you? Okay. I'm good. The rest of it's awesome. Thank you.
The only comment that I have is I do agree with Kelly as far as the coaches and teachers may impose to have more detail on that. I will say that is in there in case somebody is, working with fire or something and they have a big loose top on, that the teacher can say, you can't wear that top around this fire in the science lab, or it's for safety. It's not just in case some teacher wants to say, I don't like that color pink on you, so you need to go change. So I do agree that it needs to be more detailed.
Thank you for that.
I don't see anywhere in here where it says no tube tops. We should take that line here, no tube tops at schools.
I'll put that on the future agenda. I didn't get it in 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry, midriffs, my bad. And then the whole hat thing, I mean, we're not in the military, so I mean, kind of can go either way. Been wearing a hat since I was about 4 years old, still wearing a hat. Kind of like hats, but I don't like looking at it.
The couple of comments on the signage, I get that, being in there, having worked as an ambulance attendant, that when you call 911, they say, where are you? You could say Vasquez High School, and that operator wants an address, so I'm glad that we have that available. And the whole pretense is calmness so that they can get the services they need. So that will just help facilitate that. I agree with that. That's terrific. With regards to the teachers, I don't think that's not the job of a teacher to accelerate or enhance it. That goes to the site administration. They have a single focus. There's a dress code. If they're out of violation, they send them to the office for interpretation. Brianna's correct, like in the lab, that's not dress code, that's safety procedures. They got to put on gowns, protective devices, and things. So I think that should be clarified. With regards to Chad and the hats, when I was teaching, I wanted to see my students. I didn't want any hats in there, and so because I wanted to see it. Part of that's class management, that they have earbuds, they have things up there. It is just part of the process. We're modeling good behavior when you're in a communication setting, that we want to have that. So it's all a matter of process, but that goes to care of supporting our staff and helping everybody do really good. The one thing that I want to focus on is that I've talked with you before about is that when it comes to campus security with regards to some of the procedures when we have chase and local law enforcement says close your campus. Okay, we close our campus. Meadowlark has a pretty secure campus. High Desert has a pretty good secure campus. The Vasquez has a lot of holes because there are a lot of exterior doors that are part of the security system of closing the campus. And I know when I was instructing PE that I was on the kitchen staff and the maintenance staff, that they would go in and out those doors to do their job. And I said, you cannot prop that door open during school hours. It needs to be closed and locked. My students are in here. That's a blind side to the campus. So I'd like to request that the consideration come up that on every door where it's an exterior door, that there's some signage that this door must remain closed and locked during school hours, because that's a security feature for the campuses. And then the last one I have is for the campus access at the front office, is that there be a visual release lock on the door, so when we see people want to come on our campus, we have the gates and we have the doors, they can walk right in our offices. We need to be able to go. They can come on in, it's no problem. I go to the Antelope Valley when I visit on my Cal Bakersfield, and I have to sit there and I check in and let me have access to the campus, so we have just a little bit of security. We are remote. If we need services from law enforcement, it's going to be 20-25 minutes. We're not going to get them in 5 minutes unless Deputy Martinez happens to be down the street. He's not off doing something wherever. So we have to take that upon ourselves to make sure we protect our students. Other than that, the details with the teachers, I think that's for the site administrators to enforce that, not the teachers. So,
Yeah, I want to talk more about this hat thing. How can I hide my vaping pen and my other paraphernalia strap apparatus if I don't have a hat or a hood?
well, you know, and that's not one of my.
That was a
my process
facetious
was
question.
Communicating and teaching to students, and I'm communicating with them, and I like to be able to see who I'm talking to, and that's just a process of classmates.
I would say the hat is the least of the concerns. Let's talk about earbuds and telephones and all the other stuff that should be put in the pockets or backpacks.
A lot of students hide behind their hats, and that makes them feel safe. They hide behind a hood, they hide it in their hoodie, and that makes them feel safe. And if they're on our campus and they feel safe in their hoodie and their hat, then at least they're on our campus. If a kid's gonna vape and hide their vape, I'd be shocked if they're hiding it in their hat.
Look, what I'm getting at here is, are we giving staff the direction to allow hats? Guys, I have to hide behind this. You know what this is like? But are we giving staff the direction that we allow hats on the campus? That's my question. Do we need to vote on this? Okay, good, we're done.
This is a discussion, I think the board has the right to have a discussion to just hash some of these things out before it comes for the second read. So if the staff feels that hats is something they want to discuss, and they're the ones at the school, then that's up to them.
If I could chime in, you know, my team and I, you know, attend staff meetings when we can, and there's, you know, this discussion of dress code comes up in terms of, you know, what is impeding on, you know, student being successful, instruction, or positive environment. And so we leave that up to the school site direction and the school site leaders, and then they could tailor their dress code and their student handbook specific to the needs of their site.
Okay, moving on. Education services 11A, school accountability report card, SART, Vasquez High School, High Desert, Middle School, Meadowlark Elementary School. Do you have a motion to discuss, consider?
So moved.
Kelly.
A second.
Brianna. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you. So the 2021 SARC you have attached, and I want to thank the site principals and the efforts of Ms. McCauley to my right for putting it together and updating this information. Updated information generally includes suspension expulsion rates, formal assessment data. We all know that 2021 academic year was not your typical year when it came to assessments, with distance learning. And also you'll find information updated in terms of textbook and instructional materials as part of the SARC reports. We do have our site leaders here if there's anything they would like to share or take questions from our board.
I only have one. If you pull up the Meadowlark SARC report, it has Nicole Chung's name, and it does not have her full name. If we could make sure that we have the principal's name. Are we saying that she wrote the report? Are we addressing the principal of the school? So that would just be one thing that caught my attention.
Sure. At the time, in terms of the collaboration, it was our teacher in charge, Ms. Chung, that was providing and supporting information.
And then also, it's also on the safety manual as well.
Thank you. We noted that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen.
Further comments? None? Call the question?
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you have aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0. 12, business services, solar update presentation. It is a discussion item. Dr. Zahaki.
Sure, we have a short presentation and a guest speaker on our solar project from Luminous. Waiting in the wings, some areas that will cover is positive impact to the general fund with this project and improve campus safety. Mr. Mirza?
Good evening, board. We have Christian DeWitt and Alex Smith from our solar representatives to provide you guys with updates on where we are in the process
And where we're headed.
process.
Good evening, everyone. This is Alex Smith. Can you hear me? Excellent. I'm going to try to share my screen. Can you see it?
Not yet. It looks very dark for a solar presentation.
Okay. Well, perhaps you should, if you were to put it up on your end, I will narrate it through this end.
No, you had it. You had it, Alex.
I did? Okay. I can go back to it. You can see it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and get started. So a little update. We're ready to get started, but let's you review on what the project means. Savings. We've got a positive impact to the general fund, $6 million over 30 years. Also got next generation science standard aligned curriculum, that's K-12, that aligns with the solar system. Where we're locating solar arrays in the parking lots, we'll be increasing the amount of light you'll have on campus. And in addition, when we're going out into field or blacktop areas, we'll be creating valuable shade. We recognize working with districts, we need to be able to provide customized community partnerships. And with all this clean, green, renewable energy, certainly cleaning up the air provides environmental and human health benefits for all, which brings good PR for the district. Long-term history of electricity prices in California have been going up, and a 44-year compound annual growth rate of just over 5%. And while that's gone up and down, it has had that long-term trend. Recently, you can see since January of 2020, the rates have gone up even more than 5% per year. In fact, much more than that. So at all of your different types of schools, the rate hikes have been significant. That leads to the savings summary in year one, $31,000 to $34,000. Years 1 through 5, $170,000 to $220,000. 1 through 30, $5.2 to $6.4 million. The power purchase agreement terms, there's no capital required for the district. We will provide all the capital for design, constructions, and maintenance. We will then sell the power back to the district at a rate of 14.8 cents per kilowatt hour, going up at 3.9% per year for the last 15 years. Currently, you're using just over 1.6 million kilowatt hours, and that average rate is 24 cents per kilowatt hour. We're projecting the rates to go up at 5% per year in the future. So you can see that we've got a roughly dime difference between the price of solar and the price of Southern California Edison. We are looking at parking canopies, shade structures, and ground mounts for a 773 kilowatt system size at 5 of your locations. And we're going to be producing 81% of your annual amount of kilowatt hours that you use from solar. Here we've got a table that shows the annual savings. Won't get into the details of that. Here is that visualized. You can see the rate of solar is in red, going up and then flattening out, and the rate of Southern California Edison going up at either 3.5%, 5%, or 6%. We've modeled against the 5%. But even if Edison were to only go up at 3.5%, still solid savings. Our firm, Luminace, we are a nationwide firm, although we are locally based and have done a lot of projects nearby. We've got offices in Huntington Beach as our local office. We've done 42 school districts in Southern California, 485 schools. We've done all that with no change orders. We're very excited about getting started and building at your schools. Here are some of the educational components that we'll also be offering up to you in terms of in-person events, some hands-on activities, as well as the K-12 curriculum. If you'd like, we can have a groundbreaking event or a flip the switch event when we're done. Happy to host that and be a co-host with you all. And here you can see the logos of many of the districts that we've worked with, a lot of nearby districts to you. Also, I've got copies of the layouts. You can see here Acton Elementary and the district office where we've got it over as a shade canopy. Aadusd Elementary, also shade canopy on the blacktop. High Desert Middle, got a combination of putting it in the quad as well as down by the fields. Meadowlark Elementary, on the grass blacktop border. And here at Vasquez High School, we're putting in the ground mount. And that is the end of my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
I don't have so much questions for the presentation, but I do have some comments, and I'm kind of passionate about it. I park into one of these every single day. It's great. High desert, 112 outside, get to go underneath the solar panel. Windows rolled up, get in, my seats are hot. Love it. I was an assistant principal at a site that had solar panels that were behind some fence in the far left of the field. The grass died, weeds grew, it was an eyesore, it was heartbreaking to drive past it every day and see all these weeds growing everywhere. I've seen some that are on the blacktop they give you great shade, like you're saying, and then there's some that are in the middle of the field and you're like, how did that make any sense? Now my kids can't play soccer as well, I just gave up some space. So for the staff, all I have is, I can see this map, but I don't really know like what that's really going to look like. But I'm going to just make sure that it's not taking away place in the blacktop. So you think it's a good idea to give you shade until you go to have a handball game and the ball's going into your right in the middle of a post, or it's right in the middle of your field and you want to have a soccer game, but now you lost a bunch of your field. So I just want you to be really, really walking those sites to say, it's going to be this big, this high, and this is where it's going to be, because I've seen great ones, and then I'm like, what sense did this make? Because this is where they had to put it, was this, it's a great savings, and I, great, but now this field sucks because this is right in the middle of it. So just be very, very careful where we place these things, please. That's all.
Refresh me, when did the board vote on this project and pick this consultant?
Yes, that would have been the spring of 2020, roughly 2 years ago.
I'm going out fast, yeah. So again, I know these things, and it's kind of like you put them where it's easiest to get to the power, and then you kind of end up with dead grass and all that kind of thing. So I don't anticipate that that's going to happen. I also don't. We want to remember that Vasquez was built on a pad, and it looks like the placement of this is not on the engineered pad. It's up in that area where the shot putters and discus throwers. How's your stuff about being discus and shot put proof? Exactly.
Well, I can respond to that. So we've located the arrays, as we put them, not meant to be in the discus and shot put area, certainly.
Okay, so staff, you hear me? Who's in charge of the sports program? That would be the athletic director. Hey, I'm moving fast, right? Next.
This might be a completely dumb question. Why are some of them over the parking lots and some of them not over the parking lots?
Sure, I can respond to that. So I'll go site by site and give you a rationale. The idea was to be able to locate the arrays not only near the meter, but also in a place that could provide some benefit to the students if they were to use it as a shade canopy element. Here at this site, it was similar for the well site. This is not actually right, but it is in a place where we're 20 feet away from the buildings. We're not in any fire lanes, which are important elements that we've got to consider. And it's a place that could provide shade for kids when they're going outside. Here at High Desert Middle, the idea is to use it as a place to get shade, to be outside, and down below by the field near where sports are being played for spectators to observe. Lark Elementary, the idea was that because that canopy is to the south of the playground, that the shade from the solar canopies would kick north and shade the playground area as well. And at Vasquez, there were a lot of various ideas put around us to which way to go. Ultimately, we landed on the ground mount to be near the meter up at the top of the campus. So that was the rationale behind the decision as to where to locate the arrays for each site.
And thinking in the future, when we brand our schools and we have so much enrollment that we expand, these solar panels will not be in our way, correct?
Correct.
I'm gone, and there's kids of the future. I just want to make sure that we've considered all of these things.
My last thing is, it is 9:40 at night. Is there any way in the future when we have a presentation, somebody that's coming in to bump them to the front so they don't have to listen to our entire board meeting? Because I feel bad that it's, after 9:30 and those people probably want to go to bed and not listen to all of us. So that would be great if we could just bump them to the beginning.
Definitely. We've done that in the past with some guest speakers. We just wanted to go ahead and torture this one. No.
Yeah, this guy's after our money, he's gonna pay.
But we hear you. We'll take that into account for each and every speaker as well moving forward. Thank you.
My 2 cents would just be the layout. I question the Vasquez one, taking up vacant land that you use to expand in the future. Maybe that big swimming pool that we all dream of, or wrestling room, or another classroom, something like that. I don't understand why it couldn't go over the parking area. It's kind of in the same vicinity, probably close to the same run for the panel. And then at High Desert, maybe keeping it off of the field area outside of the buildings, and maybe moving it into the common areas so that it does provide a little more shade in the hotter days for the students. That's all I have to add.
So, with regards to, I'm going to go in reverse order here real quickly. I understand the High Desert, they couldn't use it in the parking lot because there was not sustainable sun visual because of the trees, the mature trees. And then the portion of the quad is going to be covered against the west or the east side of that quad, because we just put grass on the stage side, so that'll still be exposed to the sun. That grass area on the east side of the quad, we're going to have to check that to see. The down below where it says, the one down below in the field, I think it's on the hillside almost where the bleachers are for the softball field. It's not out in the field area, the play area. That was one of the considerations. Now that we go to Vasquez, when you first brought it up, I wanted to have shade parking on the back side of the gym for staff. And part of the discussion is our baseball field is there, and we had some sluggers, and the angle of the screens would put them in target range of baseball being hit was one reason. Not putting them on the parking lot on the south side of where Escondido is, the main entrance is, they would cut into the visuals of the gym and the campus entrance, and so from aesthetic standpoint. And now the area where we agreed to is behind the football scoreboard. There's a patch of land that belongs to the district that had water and power up there, because that originally was going to be the maintenance quarters where they were going to put their shops up there and everything. It was unused dirt, and then we transitioned it for track and cross country so they'd have a little place for their shot puts because we didn't have field for them. Now that ground mount is going to be the ground, like they're going to be like 4 feet off the ground just so they can maintain the weeds, correct? Alex?
Yes, we will maintain the weeds.
But they're not going to be like structures for where you can play underneath them. They're going to be like we see out here on 138 when they're putting all those freeways going to Gorman. They see all those ones on. They're going to be down on the ground, right? They're going to be down like 2 or 3, so they're just
correct.
A little. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. So we originally wanted them for staff parking on the back side of the gym, but because of our physical facilities, And I agree that that's land space that we're going to give up, but we have vacant, it's getting pretty tight. We're going to have to buy that property to the east, so like that.
Tim, I have a question.
Yeah.
And maybe staff, you can answer this question. Did the board, when the board approved this and voted on this, it's my assumption that the design build on this went based on that vote, and we're not opening this back up to changing locations. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so did anybody abstain from that vote? Who was here in 2020? Okay, so the three of us, right? What's going on out there?
Sorry, I was here.
Maybe you can tell us what's going on then. Listen, so there's the three board members here that we voted, so we're not changing the design. They are where they are. Is that, Alex, is that your understanding, or do you want to go through redesign?
No.
We're here to present you an updated schedule for.
Okay, so that means this is an update. It's not a reinvent the wheel. Okay, thanks.
Correct.
Okay, so that was a discussion presentation, first read, so to speak. So you have the notes, Dr. Zahakian, from the consideration.
Yes.
And my comments were just trying to provide what we discussed when we did it, the questions that went back and forth before we approved it as it was. So
Historical perspective.
right. Okay, all right, then moving on. 12B, Heartland School Solution Proposal. Do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Kelly.
I'll second.
Brianna, seconds. Dr. Zahakian.
Sure, I'll defer this to Mr. Mirza as he oversees food and nutrition for the district.
So in collaboration with our IT folks, the current POS point of sale system that we have is just really outdated for child nutrition. So this would upgrade their software, bring the new point of sale system, because the old ones are just obsolete, couldn't be repaired anymore.
Board Member Khan. Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Scarpa, aye.
Brianna Tuxoni, aye.
Chad Walker, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, motion approved. 12C, second interim report 2122. The motion to consider. I'll move. Chad second. Dr. Zahakian.
Mr. Jorgensen, board, community, just wanted to share with our community who's here and watching, interim reports are presented twice a year, 2 times a year. In December, we had our first interim report. This evening, Mr. Mirza will present the second interim report, which covers reporting period through January 31st of this year. Take it away, sir.
Good evening. Good morning. Okay, so yeah, tonight we'll be presenting the second interim report, which is an update to our budget. Last time I came up here was in October to talk about the first interim report with you guys, and that covered all the expenses from the beginning of the school year, July to October. So this is giving you guys an update from what happened and what expenses and revenues changed from expanding that further from October and pushing it towards all the expenses and revenues, the changes that occurred for up till January 31st. So we're looking from July to January 31st. And so tonight, Alex, next slide. Good. I'm going to turn this off. Sorry. There you go. Okay, so yeah, tonight's agenda, we'll go over the reporting requirements, which Dr. Sahakian kind of went over. We'll jump right into the reserves, the enrollment ADA trends, the revenues and expenditure changes, Give you guys an update for where we are for our ending fund balance and go into the multi-year projection to see how we're doing for the 2 fiscal years out. Yes, next slide. So you can skip this slide. So pretty much that's what Dr. Sahakian mentioned, that we're giving you guys an update from July to January for all the changes in the revenue and the expenses. And it's required. We have to report to the County of Education twice a year. So district certification reserves, we are certified positive, which is good news. We will meet our current year and at least our next 2 fiscal years, 4% state board and required minimum reserve. Right now, ending 21-22, we're projecting that our total reserves will be about 60.52%. Going forward, next year we'll be at 74.20%, and after that, 22, 23, 22, 24 year will be at 72.20%. Keep that in mind. Our reserves, they may seem high, but we're a small school district, so the pendulum could shift really quickly at any time. If that be a lawsuit or anything that happens, then it could shift our pendulums to, looks like we're doing good, but in reality, 4% covers about $750,000 of, that's what 4% required reserve would be. And that doesn't even cover 1 month of payroll. Our average payroll runs about $1.1 million. So if we did see an economic downturn and we just kept our minimum 4% reserves, it'd be game over. So 60% is up there. It's healthy reserve, I would say. So next slide. Our ADA trends, it's the same since first interim. We're projecting a declining enrollment, obviously, from 2021. We were held harmless at 979.89 for our ADA, but we're on a downward spiral. As you can see, we're at 881 right now, and we're projecting it to go down 868 and 858 in the years, and that's where our funding comes from. So we do definitely need to work on our attendance. Next slide. And so the changes from first interim to second interim for our revenue, as you can see, our LCFF, which is our main source of revenue, has stayed the same. No changes there. Our federal revenue increased about $792,000. State revenues went up about $94,000. Our local revenues, we adjusted them down $327,000. And so what that comprises of is we updated our federal revenue for our SRO dollars to match our final apportionment through the CDE. So approximately came up to about $405,000 increase. The remaining increase that you see in our federal dollars was $386,000, which was our COVID testing grant money that we accounted for in our local source. We shifted it back up to our federal. We found out from the CDE that it was actual federal funding, so we just shifted it back up. As you can see, our local revenue, you see that decrease. Our state revenue increased. We got new one-time money called Expanded Learning Opportunities Plan, very similar to the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant Program, but this is different, so that went up about $94,000. Next slide. And so our expenditures, our certificated salaries decreased about 84. We decreased the budget from first interim expenses up to October to where we see our expenses landing at the end of January and projecting outwards where we think we're going to end up at the end of the year. We decreased it about 84,000. Classified salaries, benefits went up. Supplies we increased 599,000. Services we decreased, and capital outlay we decreased as well. Capital outlay we increased. So as you can see, this is just a pie chart. About 57% of our entire budget is comprised of certificated classified salaries and benefits. Supplies and services make up the bulk of the remaining. Right now, supplies and services are a little inflated. Still, we have those COVID funding that we have placeholders for, and those are all one-time dollars. Next slide. And so these are the assumptions we used to build the budget. As you can see, our COLA, 5.07%, that we multiply that based off of our ADA and the formula that accounts for our LCFF dollars. That stayed the same for this year, but the 2 years out, we didn't know this information during first interim, so our 2022 2023 year, the upcoming year, we're getting 5.33% COLA, so that's really good, and then 3.61% outwards. Something that's not changing here is CalSTRS rate. You're seeing increase. It's going from 16.92%. That makes up all the benefits for the certificated staffing is based off the CalSTRS rates. As you can see, the years outwards, they're projecting that it'll increase to 19.10%, but stay stable. We're going to watch that closely because I don't think that's going to hold. As you can see, look at CalPERS rate. It's going from 22% to 6% to 27%. So the benefits are just increasing every year. Next slide. And so here's the reason for our variances. We actually adjusted our budget down from our first interim based on where we feel that we're going to land based on the total expenses up to January. Certificated salaries, the nurse, she is a certificated staff. Her salary right now is being shifted to being paid out of the COVID testing grant funds that we received, along with several classified salaries as well, the nurse's assistant, and any secretary that helps out, their salaries are shifted to that COVID testing grant funds. And now the classified salaries, we settled in negotiations, so that money that was allotted for an assignments, that 4% increase and health and welfare increase, has moved up to an actual expense of the dollar. That's why you see classified and benefits increase. Benefits also increased because there was a double payment made on PARs. That was a golden handshake that we did last year. They billed us early for it this year. It technically should have been paid in July or August, but we paid it early, and we did an adjusting entry to move that out. So you'll see that in unaudited actuals that it's corrected. And then expenditures, like I mentioned, we bumped them up because of the influx in ESSER refunds and our ELOP grant funds. And then services and contracts, actually, we looked at where the budget is for our contracted services and our legal fees and where we were trending to, and so we actually reduced that back down. And then our property and liability budgets, we just matched it with our annual premium that we received. Next slide. And so here's our ending fund balance. The good news is we're not deficit spending. We're increasing our ending funding balance by $454,000 this year. Next year, we're projecting to be at $212,000. The following year, at 23-24, we're looking at our funding balance, ending fund balance, increasing by $235,000. Next slide. Here's our MYP. And so if you follow me on this, it works here. So this is our beginning balance, $12,197,154. Our projected revenue for this year, which encompasses everything, our local, federal, state, LCFF dollars. Here's our projected expenses. So as you can see, we have a surplus that's $454,000, and that we just add back to the beginning balance. So the ending balance is $12,651,000. And these are assignments that we are keeping here. Restricted resources covers like special ed and programs that we have to do contributions to. Assignments here are possible negotiation funds that are remaining. And then here's our reserve dollars. So as you can see, every year, the good news is we're not in the red here. And so that's what I have for you guys tonight. If you have any questions, next slide. Sorry. Let me give you a quick update on the rest of the funds. Fund 13, child nutrition. Fund 14, Fund 17. They're all positive. So if you see we're not deficit spending in any of these. So child nutrition has $171,000 balance, ending fund balance. Fund 14, which is our deferred maintenance, doesn't have much dollars in it, about $2,700. But we used to transfer money over to that. But as you could tell, our Fund 25 and our Fund 40, which is also can be used for maintenance purposes and capital infrastructure upgrades, we have a pretty strong balance in here. So if there's any emergency maintenance expenses that come up, we could always utilize these funds for those. And then we have our small dollar amount sitting in $8,634. That's spending fund balance that we could apply towards the upgrades as well. And our services for their attorneys. And so the final notes, we're certifying positive. We just continue to be prudent in the development of our budget, maintain the high level of reserves. I know people may not be happy about it, but the pendulum could swing back and forth real quick with a small school district. Continue to monitor staffing as people are retiring, reanalyze the positions and look at position control to see if those need to be filled. And it's recommended that Board of Trustees approve this report tonight. And that's all I have.
Board member comments?
And just thank you. It's always nice to see as a board member and a community member that we're not seeing a lot of red. So I really appreciate you making sure that we're going to have a positive, so thank you.
Point of order, let's extend the board meeting till 10:15, please. Motion.
Second. Call a question?
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Giap, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Meetings are 10:15.
Okay, here we go. You know what's coming. Sometimes people come in, they don't understand the budget, they don't understand the reserve, they want to know what happened, why the board took away the pool, the outdoor tennis courts, all that kind of stuff. So I do want this in the record. First thing, can we get this up on the district website, like boom, right up here where anybody has any questions? And of course, if someone were to call and make a request, you would know that. Would you say that the major part of this reserve outside of the money the government has given us is COVID related? By the way, has the government ever threatened to pull your COVID funding? No. Based on a vaccine requirement or not?
Not at this point.
Okay, so that's an assumption I think that's being made that it's not true. And so would you say that outside of those funds, that the reason the fund balance is what it is because after the San Diego case, this district hung on to the money that was in the charter reserve?
Yes.
Yes, that's the yes. Okay, so did you collect any positive charter revenue this year?
No.
Did you have to inform your budget, like say we have the 1% coming in that I noticed that you do that every month now, thank you. Did you have to spend more money? In other words, did running the charters become anything other than cost neutral, where we were pulling out of our fund balance intended for our kids to pay for something, a liability that was created over there?
No.
Would you say that the decrease in lawyer fees has come through A, less special education lawsuits, and B, less charter related lawsuits? Yes? Yes. Okay. So what happens tomorrow if I decide I want to put the pool in at, I don't know, I think the pools cost what now, $6 million? And I get a $500,000 sped lawsuit, what happens?
We're going to be dead.
We're going to be dead. Did you hear that? We're going to be dead. So no pool, no lawsuits from sped. Okay, so when we take away the federal funding and we have no charter revenue and we're not paying out anything to the charters because somebody blows it and we have no MOU that would protect us, you could find yourself upside down out of nowhere.
Yes.
Okay, does everybody understand why we're not spending a lot of money quickly on frivolous projects? Yeah, that's why. Here's my indicator of progress since I've been on this board. Let's go to the page where you have deferred maintenance funds.
Near the end, Alex.
I remember when I was sitting out in the audience, I would watch that fund balance, deferred maintenance funds. And just about every year you'd see fund balances floating all over the place. That's called hiding money. And if you want to paint out to your staff that you're almost broke, you just put money in deferred maintenance. And the county's going to send you a letter and go, whoa, you can't do that. You see those letters in the file. So that's the first thing I look for is Fund 14, deferred maintenance. Are people burying money in that account to make it look like there's less in your fund? Isn't that kind of the way it's supposed to look?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I appreciate you not running 2 and 3 sets of books. As always, good job. Yeah.
I really appreciate that, that you know your stuff. I don't feel like you're ever trying to buffalo us that's not the word that I was going to use, but I always feel like you tell us exactly how it is and tell us straight, and I very much appreciate that. Thank you for this. The enrollment going down has always been concerning, and then at the rate that it's going down is incredibly concerning. And I do feel like there are so many things that we can do, even offer incentives for kids to come to school and making phone calls when they're absent and saying, hey, can you just get your kid in here even for the afternoon, even if they're late, come in, so that we can at least collect those ADAs, and a little bit adds up to a lot. All of the programs that Dr. Sahakian is doing, if we get that word out there and with the branding, and we get the more programs, the more kids, the more kids, the more programs, and it will build. So the trend in the past is that we lose kids, so we lose programs, and then we lose more kids because we've lost our programs, and we need to reverse that. We need to bring in the programs to bring in more kids. We have a huge homeschool population here, and our school has a very weak independent study program. That's something that we could pull back a lot of ADA, having a bigger homeschool population coming back to our district if we had that strong program. Those are just ideas. That was in no way direction. Those were just brainstorming ideas to get our ADA back up. And then ADA up goes back to increasing our funds. So thank you so much for your
as always, spot on report. Thank you. Appreciate your earnest hard work you put into it. Thank you.
Doc, you blew it out of the park again. Oh my goodness. So to me, it's hard to run school finance because there's a lot of restrictions and guides. I'm expressly appreciative of the confidence I have in your staff and the department to present it accurately to us, give us the numbers where it's at. And looking at it, everybody says, oh, look at that, a lot of that money. Well, the shifts and decisions are not small, they're big. So when something happens, it's not just a couple of $100, it's in the millions. And I appreciate that you're making decisions, prudent decisions, rather than panic decisions. If we went up and spend it, then we'd be in a panic trying to make sure we hit our 4%. And so keep up the good work, and I appreciate the staff for doing everything that they're doing to get it done right. No further discussions. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls Graf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Walker, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0. The second interim report 2022 is approved. Going on the 13th calendar, March 10th is the next board meeting will be on March 24th. And the following one will be on April 14th. And then we go on spring break. Dr. Sark, getting that back?
No, not at this time. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen.
Future agenda items, 14A.
Dr. Sahakian, do we need to update the administrative dress policy, or can you handle that?
Oh, we could go ahead and handle that.
Thank you,
sir.
The only thing I should notice here is a second reading adoption of the board policy 420.42 charter school renewal. Is that coming up, or is that still out there? It's not going to be on the next one?
But we'll check in with our Director of Charter Services. I think there's one that's still out there, the MOU, we could bring that back.
Okay, and moving on, 15A, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Chad moves.
Chad?
I'll second.
Brianna? No discussion, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Girat, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Walker, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, we stand adjourned at 10:04.